Hi, students. This is Dr. Madewell, and I wanted to talk to you about a quick and easy way to calculate mean and standard deviation using Excel. What I would like for you to do, and I'm going to share my screen with you first. I'd like for you to open up Excel. I'm going to move pretty quickly throughout this video, and I'd like you to fast forward or watch this video multiple times until you can get it. Let's say that we're a prison administrator and we're interested in understanding depression rates among our prisoners. And let's say we're in a facility that allows us to collect data, not for anything, not to harm our prisoners or the inmates, but to better understand the status of their happiness and their likelihood of maybe going back to prison. So let's say we collect data. Let's say we collect data from 10 participants. So let's go ahead and create our data set here. So we have 10 people. We just give them an ID number 1 through 10. And let's say that we assess them on depression. And maybe we give them the Beck Depression Inventory. And let's say their lowest score, scores range from 0 to 50, where high scores represent high depression. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm just going to make up some data here. I hope you're following along with me in Excel. All right, here's so our variable of depression. We could say this is variable X. And so we easily have our ID number for our participants. We interviewed 10 people and gathered their depression score that ranged from 0 to 50, where higher scores are higher depression. We have a 25, 30, 10, 15, 22, 15, 16, 18, 19, 32. This is contrived data. I did not, I just made this up. The very first thing that we want to talk about, N is going to tell us, our capital N would be how we would denote our population size. Or a lowercase n would be how we would denote our sample size. So what would our sample size be for this? This group would be 10. And we'll use a lowercase according to APA style. We would want this to be a lowercase italicized n. So our n equals 10. Next, we need to calculate our sample mean. And I'm on a roll with trying to say sample. We want our sample mean. And a lot of times we will denote that with an X with a bar along the top. Oh, I don't think I'm going to be able, let me go ahead. An X bar. That looks great. We're just going to call it X bar to represent our sample mean. Much easier to do this on a chalkboard. So that means that we need the sum of all of our variable scores. So we need the sum of X, and we need to divide it by our sample size, which is our N. So let's go ahead and do this in Excel. Let's open up an empty cell. And when we click on this empty cell right below our data, you can see up here, it's telling us this is cell B12. So that means column B, cell 12. And we could type in some information here that would go directly in here. Now, let's look at this toolbar when we type in an equal sign. Type in an equal sign, and it gives us all these mathematical functions that we could use. And we want to calculate the mean. So now that we've typed equal, we're going to click average, which is synonymous with the mean. And I always like to click on the data that I want to do my mathematical calculation on, and then hit enter or OK. For Pearson My Stat Lab, we always want to, and for my in-person classes, we always want to format our calculations to calculate to 4 decimal places, so that way we are the most accurate we could be. So let's right-click on this cell, go to Format Cells, go to Number, and let's click to 4 decimal places and hit OK. So if we were to say, what is our sample mean? Our sample mean equals 20.2000. Always report to 4 decimal places and do not round until your very final answer. So I want you to go ahead and try that again on your own. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Now you know how to calculate your mean, your sample mean, using Excel in just a matter of seconds. Thank you.